Greetings. Let's start off by you introducing who you are and your credentials.
Sure. I'm Sakina Oyuhuru. I am a nurse midwife. I have a master's degree in midwifery, and I've been practicing the art of midwifery for the last 20 or so years. And now I'm embarking on a new journey, um, BlackAshCannabis journey.
Okay. All right. So my main question that's actually been asked to me, I'll pose a question to you. Um, are there any psychological benefits with taking CBD? Because that's what we're going to discuss CBD, right? And the benefits.
Sure, we can talk about CBD, cannabidiol, or CBD oil because right now my company, BlackAshCannabis, is selling CBD oil. We would love to sell THC infused CBD, but of course it's not legal right now because the reason being is that it is a whole plant, and of course when you isolate plants, you take components of the plant, it's not going to work as well, you know. So if you want to get what is known as the entourage effect, you want to allow the plant to be used as a whole plant, the whole plant, meaning CBD, THC, terpenoids, flavonoids, all of the components of the plant and its healing benefits.
Okay. All right. So, okay, now that's out the way. You can start off, like the question I posed to you is, what do you think are the psychological benefits of taking CBD? Not only that, it's two-parter, and once you explain what the psychological benefits are, is it different with men and women, or does it attack them the same, or help them the same, not attack?
Okay, well, one of the wonderful benefits of consuming CBD, it's overall, I want to say well-being. It helps you feel better about yourself. And in terms of mental well-being, absolutely it's going to affect men um, in the same way as women when we talk about the components or molecularly, when we talk about cellularly, how CBD affects your mental well-being. Yes, it would be the same, meaning how it affects serotonin, which is our mood enhancer, or how it affects dopamine, or how it affects adenosine, which are enzymes or amino acids that we all have within us, and they affect our mental well-being, our mood.
All right. So, how does it? Okay, because we're gonna stick on the line now towards women because
Okay,
that's
sure.
really pretty much your
My
specialty.
forte, my
Right.
specialty,
Yeah.
yes.
So let's. My first question is: can pregnant women take CBD oil?
No, that's a good question. It's pretty controversial. So I'm going to say yes to that. And the reason I'm going to say yes to that is because CBD is a cannabinoid. Cannabinoid. It's kind of tongue twister when you say it, but cannabinoid are proteins or lipid-based molecules that are found within our bodies. And so CBD is a cannabinoid. It just happens to be a plant cannabinoid. So we have cannabinoids within our bodies. It's part of our endocannabinoid system, like your stomach system or digestive system or your nerve system or your nervous system. We also have an endocannabinoid system. The wonderful thing about an endocannabinoid system, though, it enhances all of those systems and helps them to work better. And it works better by impacting the molecular system or the pathway if we're talking about the nerve. So it impacts it by either enhancing it, promoting it, or tuning it or toning it down. So it impacts all systems in a beneficial way.
Okay. Is there a certain way that cannabinoids can be measured in your system? Or is there a certain number that someone has in their body, or can someone have more, less than others?
Well, it's known that women have more cannabinoids in their body because we have what's also known as anandamide. And women have a little bit more cannabinoids in their body because we have a lot in our uterus. And a lot of it is produced during ovulation when the egg comes out of the ovary every month to prepare us for birth. So in that respect, women have a little bit more because there are other cannabinoids in our system that we have, like anandamide and 2-HG. Those are cannabinoids. that CBD and THC impact positively. They impact those other cannabinoids.
Okay. Right. So the cannabinoids that's from the plant and the cannabinoids that we have in our system are different.
No, actually, they're the same.
Are
Molecularly, they're the same. And they work synergistically. They work together. Sometimes directly, like THC works directly on the CB1 cannabinoids that are found in our brain. They're found all over our bodies, but more in our brain. So THC works directly on CB1. That's why you have that psychological effect. And we also have CB2, but CBD doesn't work directly on CB1 like THC does. And some people say indirectly, but it still works directly on a molecular level. It changes like the message or the transcript on our genes, and our genes are found on our amino acids or our proteins.
All right. So because I just want to be clear, right? If we already have cannabinoids in our system, in our brain, in our
CB1
body,
and CB2.
right? Why would I need?
And,
Why would I need more?
Well, actually, you might be deficient. A lot of Americans are walking around in I want to say, a cannabinoid deficient system or condition. They're lacking, or their cannabinoid system is like really functioning on its lowest level. It needs to be tuned up. We need to turn that system up a little bit because you're functioning on a low level, and it might be because you're really inflamed inside. You have a lot of inflammatory processes going on. So cannabinoids bring balance to every system. Every system has to have balance, like yin and yang, right? You have a oxidative system and an antioxidative system. Both of those systems work in your body. And then you have anti-inflammatory and an inflammatory. Both of those systems are working in your body. But we have to have balance within those systems. Okay. And cannabinoids bring balance. Sometimes you don't have enough. So CBD and THC bring more to your body and help your system or your engine to work more efficiently.
Gotcha. So if I'm walking around the street and just feeling like I'm healthy, how would I know that I'm deficient in any of those CBD oils?
A good question. Some people say that they take the CBD oil and like, I don't feel anything. Sometimes it's not about what you feel. Sometimes what is happening inside of you may not translate to a feeling, an emotion. So if you're looking for that, then you might want to add some more THC so you can feel more. But because CBD works on a molecular level, it doesn't always translate to a feeling, the emotional level. Lots of times it does if that's an area that you need work in. So you might have inflammation going on in your body, and if you add an anti-inflammatory agent like CBD or THC, you might not feel it working. But then again, you might if you have something like diabetes, or if you have something like anxiety, or if you have depression. So then you will feel it. Yeah, because it's going to work on a molecular level and help your body process serotonin better for depression, or process your blood sugar better by fine-tuning the insulin or bringing more balance to the sugar level if you're diabetic, or if you're suffering from diabetic neuropathy. It has anti-inflammatory properties, so it's going to bring less pain to your digits if you have neuropathy because of diabetes. So, or analgesic for pain because it has analgesic properties, which reduces pain, or your perception of pain. It has that ability as well. So there are many benefits in taking CBD. And I know people sometimes say, I don't have a condition, I don't have a disease, but you can prevent it. You can prevent those disease processes or conditions by taking CBD oil. You don't have to wait until you have the disease and then hope for it to reverse it. Let's do, take more preventive action. You can help your body in that way.
Okay, that's good. So you mentioned a few, with that answer, you mentioned a few issues that CBD helps.
Conditions, yeah.
Can you name a few more, or can you? I mean, you don't
Yeah,
have to all of them,
yeah.
but the ones that you know offhand.
Well, CBD can impact. I mentioned anti-anxiety and anti-depression. I mentioned CBD is good for I want to say Alzheimer's because of its anti-inflammatory properties, multiple sclerosis because of its anti-spasticity properties, um, pain in terms of like menstrual cramps, menstrual pain because again anti-inflammatory, analgesic properties. It helps to decrease or diminish the contractions of the womb or uterus in terms of menstrual pain. And in terms of um, heart disease, um, it reduces bad cholesterol um, and impacts positively the good cholesterol. So if you're doing that, anytime you impact cholesterol, you're going to reduce your chances of having a heart disease. And anytime you impact inflammation process, you reduce your chances of getting high blood pressure, which is also related to heart disease. So you see how they're all kind of interrelated. Whenever you have a substance like CBD or THC that has anti-inflammatory properties, you are already impacting so many disease processes because you have anti-inflammatory and anti-spasmodical analgesic properties. That in itself means you can impact many different diseases, i.e., Alzheimer's, breast cancer, heart disease, multiple sclerosis, dementia, seizures, menstrual cramps or PMS, nausea and vomiting for pregnant patients and or patients suffering from the side effects from the medication from chemotherapy. So that's a big one, nausea and vomiting. And I know that there's been studies that show that CBD does not have any, does not put mothers at risk for birth defects or preterm labor or any poor neonatal outcomes. There are many studies that show that. And of late, I believe that there was a review done in 2016, and it actually was an article that was placed in the Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecology that said that CBD oil alone does not put newborns at risk for preterm labor or any birth defects. So it can be taken and given for women who are suffering from nausea and vomiting during pregnancy, and particularly women who are suffering from depression. Postpartum depression. I know women worry, oh my God, can I take this while I'm breastfeeding? Yes, because cannabinoids, CBD and THC, CB1 and CB2 inside of us are found in breast milk. So we already have it inside of us. Babies already have it inside of them. So it is safe in pregnancy.
Okay, so that's good. That's definitely excellent news. One question I have that was just text to me. It says, "What effects can a person expect upon immediately taking CBD?"
That's a good question. It's pretty broad, pretty general. Um, so I always say, what is the purpose for us taking CBD? So if we're taking CBD because we have pain, acute pain, of course I'm gonna tell you to vape, number one. But if you can't vape, you don't have a vape pen, I would tell you to take it, sublingually under your tongue with a tincture. So immediate effects. Well, sometimes again you're not going to really feel it, but if you're having problems with sleeping, you might, fall asleep that night. Actually, the first time you take CBD, if you have a problem with insomnia, falling asleep, is probably going to be the best night that you have a great, night's sleep. But just for overall well-being and just for feeling good, one of the things that I find from some of the patients and clients and family and friends that I have, put on CBD is that they really feel good. They have more energy. They feel good when they wake up in the morning. Just overall sense of well-being. So just for that reason alone, is it good enough?
All right. Now, the next question we have, someone emailed is, If someone has a bad reaction to marijuana, would you recommend they stay away from CBD?
Oh, those are two different components. One actually works. They can have a synergistic effect, and then one can balance out the other. So if you have a bad reaction to THC, I would tell you to take some CBD. Let's say you're getting paranoid, anxious, your heart is going really fast. Please take some CBD, 2 drops under the thumb or more, I would say, immediately, or vape some if you want an immediate response from panic. You're having a panic attack because you smoked too much, or the strain you took was too strong, or you had 25 milligrams as opposed to 5, you get a hold of some CBD. So if you're a smoker, you love marijuana, always have some CBD on hand to bring you down from
That's
that.
definitely good information.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading off questions right now that was emailed to us. So
Oh, great.
Here's another one.
Mm-hmm.
Can CBD be addictive?
I would say it can be addictive. I wouldn't say addictive in the sense that there was a word I'm looking for. As in you're addicted physiologically. I'm talking about addiction in terms of habit. Like you want to have a chocolate cookie, kind of addictive.
Okay.
Not so much addictive as in I am addicted to heroin, or an opioid. Not that type of addiction. I'm talking more like habit-forming addiction. That you really just have to have a chocolate piece of cake or cornbread in the morning.
And which is
coffee.
probably, if you are addicted, it's probably a good thing.
Right. More habitual addiction.
Right. Okay, but I have a follow-up to that question. If someone takes it daily, will they build up a tolerance?
Good question. I would say you might build up a tolerance in that your body really doesn't need as much anymore. And then it can also have the opposite. If you are finding that your symptoms have resumed, you may need to increase your dose or take it twice a day, and or really take a look at your diet. Because if you're taking it and you're still getting the same symptoms, it's like, okay, what am I doing? What other part of my life I need to alter, right? Because this is not be all end all. We also have to alter the way in which we think, our diets, the company we keep, what are we exposing our lives to? So I don't want people to start thinking like CBD is cure all be all. We also have to look at other elements of our being and be willing to change those things as well.
Okay, so if you take CBD for a long period of time, is there some sort of reaction if I say I took it for a year and I stopped today? Will there be some sort of reaction?
From the CBD?
Right, for not taking it anymore?
Yeah, you'll get them damn symptoms back again. And now, let me just mention that there has been, I'm not sure if it's accurate, that some people who take it might have diarrhea or something like that.
Take too much of it.
Too much of it. But I'm talking like 6,400 milligrams. It's like you really have to take a lot of CBD to get that, oh, I'm sleeping, I can't wake up. Oh, I'm drowsy. Oh, I'm dizzy. It can happen, but usually not on low doses. And so what I usually recommend is low dosing, all depending on your age, your weight, your, fat content, your condition. And, but it's all about going slow. Going slow. That's key here.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So we addressed going back a couple steps back to women's health. We addressed you said that there's nothing wrong with women taking it during pregnancy, right? So what other benefits can women specifically have by taking CBD outside of being pregnant, just for their everyday health? So it helps with menopause. It helps with
absolutely. It helps with midlife. I like to call it midlife because menopause has such negative connotations to some people. But I call it midlife symptoms. Absolutely, because one of the most common symptoms of menopause or midlife symptoms is insomnia, and we've already addressed that. Other most common symptoms are temperature changes, feeling really hot, having hot flashes. And so there's two chemicals First of all, THC, let me talk a little bit about THC. THC has a cooling effect. So it's able to regulate your temperature and make you feel cooler when you take THC. CBD actually works on what we know as, well, some of us know in the medical field, vanilloid receptors. Vanilloid receptors are related to temperature and modulating your temperature. So it actually impacts the temperature. So it can make you, reduce your temperature and make you feel cooler. So both CBD and THC can work together to help you with those symptoms. And also feeling better, just your overall, I'm feeling better about being in menopause. And there's some more research being done around vaginal dryness as well. Some women have used it topically and find that the tissue or the vaginal orifice, the opening of the vagina, starts to feel a little bit more moisturized or less friable, less sensitive when taken, when applied. So I would say it's wonderful for women in menopause for those reasons.
Okay, that's good news. My next question is there a difference, more technical question, is there a difference in the potency between CBD derived from hemp and CBD derived from marijuana?
Good question. Well, potency. I'm definitely my vote is always for cannabis. It's always for cannabis. Because first of all, you have more THC. You don't have any THC in hemp. Well, you have very little. Let me not say any. Very little. So you have much more. It's more potent in that respect. And remember, CBD is going to be enhanced by THC. So I would say yes, it's stronger because it has much more THC. But in terms of CBD, that's a good question. I would have to do a little bit more research on, does CBD hemp have more potency or cannabis CBD have more? I would definitely say cannabis because again, if you get the oil from the cousin and not from the primary, it's probably a little bit more weaker. But just from a THC perspective, I would think it would be stronger because it would enhance that potency much stronger. You have much more THC in the cannabis plant than the hemp plant.
Okay. All right. I was reading an article earlier, and it stated there have been studies on erectile dysfunction, moving over to men, that it increases blood flow, which makes sense because of the brain. Anything dealing with the brain usually increases the blood flow. Am I correct or incorrect on that?
Well, let me just say this. Anything that causes inflammation, if you're talking about vessels, that's where blood flows, right? Arteries and veins. If there's some inflammation, plaque formation, right, which happens, that's why you have poor blood flow. Why do you have poor blood flow? Think about it. You have a vessel. Why do you have poor blood flow? There is some blockage. Where is that blockage coming from? Inflammation, right? It's all of the things that your body sends to that area because it's inflamed or foreign bodies in there. So your body's trying to attack it. In that attack is inflammation. In that inflammation causes plaque, which clogs the vessel. So if you are taking CBD on a regular basis, you can address the inflammation because it diminishes the inflammation. How does it do that? I can get into cellularly how it does that. It starts to break the inflammation down, and the plaque formation as well, or prevent inflammation altogether by attacking or preventing those cells that cause inflammation. It sends a message: stop sending cytokines and leukines. Those are the things that attack foreign body, and they cause so much. They release histamines and all the things that build up inside of a vessel.
Okay.
I know, I hate to get really technical with the medical jargon,
that's fine.
but it kind of helps you understand the process. It helps, why am I taking this product anyway? And if you understand it, you may want to take it more. So
Absolutely.
that's why I'm explaining it in that term, in those terms.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
It's a
you.
pleasure to be here to really explain the many benefits of CBD oil, CBD, THC, and thank you for having Black Ash Cannabis.
Thank you.
All right.
And cut.